without further ado, man, I guess we're gonna get into it. We're on episode 28. Ooh. And this episode is titled Mating Season, right? So talking about kind of the dating world, the dating scene, proper expectations versus unrealistic expectations, all of that good stuff. And as always, there's a link to the kits in the bio, so be sure to check them out. 1 through 28 listed. And so it's your boy E Double.
Yeah. What up, good people? Serge Lavelle. I'm just out here trying to be beneficial. That's it. And talk about this mating season. This is Eric's idea for this content that we're going to be discussing. And again, these are Eric's opinions. They do not just play.
He gonna prefix it. Hey, I like to make it a little spicy, but you know what I mean.
It's all good though. But no, bro, this is this is one of the more popular conversations.
Controversial, you know what I mean.
Controversial, or it's always talked about amongst social circles.
Women talk, man talk. Women, man talk,
all that. But we're just wanting to have a fun conversation, and kind of give our perspectives and our spin on like he said, setting proper expectations, unrealistic expectations.
Fun with some facts tossed in there.
Yeah, a little fun with a little bit of facts, But I think the way we've kind of constructed this conversation can be beneficial when it's all said and done. So yeah, bro, we can hop into it.
All right, so cool. So mating season, right? So prospecting, when you out in the field, you know what I mean, doing your due diligence. So I'm gonna let you kick it off.
Yeah, overrated status. No, so overrated status. Basically, what this means is, a lot of times things will be smoke and mirrors. What you see on the surface may not
Instagram,
be.
Facebook.
Yeah. It may not be what it really is. You know what I'm saying? People be out here frauding and fooling people. So you gotta keep your head on the swivel. You know what I'm saying? And don't be out here getting catfished and getting fooled by what you see on the screen or what society may project as a good man or a good woman, whatever the case may be, right? So basically, overrated status, being caught in the hype of certain physical features can cause you to overlook aspects of a man or a woman that may not be visible, right? Though there are preferences that and standards that can't be ignored, oftentimes giving too much of an emphasis on what you see can possibly cloud the intangibles you may not recognize. Okay, so don't get caught in the hype of what society can portray as a good man or a good woman. What could likely satisfy your interest is possibly beyond physical impression. So just to kind of contextualize this conversation, most of what we're going to be discussing really is going to allude to the same thing: intangibles, things that you can't see, things that are beyond just the surface level, beyond just what a person may look like, what a person got, what they driving, how they move, what they wearing, that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? The material things, yeah, that can all be fine and good, but at the end of the day, there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? And so basically what we've wanted to discuss in this particular type of conversation is just some things just to kind of be aware of, just to kind of open up your mind, give you a new perspective on how to navigate, you know what I'm saying, within this world where there's a lot of this, a lot of that being said, but really just kind of give you some concrete facts on what it is that you're looking at, right? And so last thing here, what to know: acknowledging there are important attributes that are beyond appearance can provide the appearance part.
Oh, he froze, or I froze.
Who froze?
Oh, you froze. You back.
Am I unfrozen?
You back.
Okay, I couldn't see myself. But no, when you look beyond just the appearance and the physical nature of things, it may potentially open up that availability pool. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got a broader perspective on how you prospecting, on what you're looking at and what draws your interest. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, be aware. Don't get caught in the hype. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that are deceiving. You know what I mean? And so you really want to just focus on more than just what you can physically see, but really kind of, you know, learn more in as it relates to, you know, certain intangibles, value more specifically, that you can tap into. You feel me?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I want to stay on this one just for a little longer. So
let's do it.
I think getting to the root of probably most people and what builds the foundation and what they probably look for in a significant other typically starts like at home, right? So like they say, like most women look for men that have like similar traits to their fathers, like if they have like a good relationship with them, right? And the same for sons. They look for women that share certain traits with like their mother or, you know, grandfather, because like some people, you know, their grandparents have been married for 30, 40 years or whatever, and they like that foundation, that dynamic. But then when you look back, you know what I mean, you got to take into account, you know, times and like where we are, right? So like if you look at like relationships back in the old days, like obviously women were kind of more like stay-at-home mothers, like, and then man kind of provided, did everything. People had a lot of kids, but also back then, you know, maybe making $40,000 was cool when could support a household and could pay the mortgage and, you know, pay, you know, buy McDonald's for 10 kids. You know what I'm saying? Where that, you know what I mean? That ain't happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Like times have changed, you know what I mean? Inflation, the cost of living, everything, you know what I mean? And then some people still expect that type of foundation, I guess, or structure when that doesn't really align with, you know, like where with current times. And that goes on both sides. That goes for men and women, because like some women may want to be taken care of and not really working all of that. And then on the flip side, some men may, you know, want a woman to be a stay at home and take care of all these responsibilities, but yet she worked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she can't be this stay at home mom, do all the chores, do, you know what I mean, do all the stuff with the kids, but also she working just as much as you. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So it goes both ways. And I think it's important to kind of, you know, I guess understand that. So that's one element of it, of, you know, the foundation of kind of what you're looking for in a significant other. And then what you mentioned is good about, you know, what society portrays, right? Which I think, you know, social media is like the biggest culprit. Obviously TV shows, movies, all that type of stuff, because they get all the, you see all this romantic stuff and stuff on movies that's just like not realistic, but you see certain image and how things are portrayed in certain lifestyles, and you want that, and people chase after that. And the reality of a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, like you said. Typically Instagram or social media is a highlight reel of people's life, right? It's just showing the high moments, and then sometimes those moments aren't even those people; they're just there. You know what I'm saying? So it gives off this fake persona, you know what I mean, and like makes it seem like, oh, like, well, damn, I want that. Well, oh boy over here ain't living like that. I don't want him. You know what I mean? Even though he may have all these other great things about him, you know what I mean? He may be a great father. Could be a great father. He may be a very hard worker, got a good head on his shoulders, no debt, great credit score, all these other things that actually would benefit you as a spouse and as, you know, growing the family. But you worried about whether he look a certain way on social media, you know what I mean? Or
that immediate, you know, gratification and that.
Exactly. So overrated status. I just wanted to kind of add that in there. So did you have anything else you wanted to add on that, Sid?
Nah, bro. Let's get to the
all right, so cool. So moving on to the next slide, the stat sheet. And this is where this is factual information now, right? So there's 2 data points. A lot of this data came from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and then there's another data source, magnifymoney.com, and they've been quoted by like CNBC and other news organizations, and they're a reputable source. So one thing to keep in mind, right? So if you look on social media, it would probably be under the impression that that so many people were just doing so well in life. You know what I mean? Like they're just making so much money. Like everybody's doing all of this. Like, wow, like how are you always on vacation? How are you all, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Like, makes it seem like just everybody making all this money. But these are the factual numbers, right? So all of these are based on 2020, right? So the medium, and then I think it's important to specify this too. So you got median and you have mean or average, right? Depending on the data set, the average is fine if there's a bunch of numbers that are the same, right? But when you're dealing with fluctuation, a lot of fluctuation in the data, right? So if there's, in the mean, if there's a bunch of 10s, a bunch of 9s, a bunch of 8s, you know what I mean? An average is a good number to go off of because it gives you a true representation. But when you're dealing with something like salary and income, a median number is better because it lines them all up and then it picks the one that's in the middle, which gives you a more true representation. Whereas if you do an average, when the numbers fluctuate like that, it's going to skew the number higher because the people at the higher end are going to pull that number to the right, right? So the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics uses the median number, which is a better because it gives you a more true representation. But all right, so in 2020, the median weekly earnings for all women was $891 a week, which equates to $46,332 annually. That's all women, right? So the median salary or the median income for women in 2020 was $46,332. That's $891 a week. The median weekly earnings for all men was $1,082, which annually that's $56,264. So let's just sit on them numbers for a second, right? Mm-hmm. This lifestyle people portray and show off, and that so many people strive for or want in a significant other, they're not even capable of providing it for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like most people, you know what I mean, can't do it themselves, right? And then I think it's important to get into the demographics, right? So like the median weekly earning, this is the breakdown for women, right? So Black women, the annual income was $39,728. White women was $47,060. Asian women is actually at the top. They're $59,436, and Hispanic women are the lowest at $36,660. Right now, the earnings for men, Black men were at $43,160, which is below that, well below that 56,000 average or median for all men. Mm-hmm. White men were at 57,720. Asian men are at the top, along with Asian women, which is at 75,244. And then Hispanic men are at the bottom with 41,444, right? So if we're looking at, let's just say, Black couples, right? So if you take a Black man, 43,160, Black woman, 39,728. We'll round that up to 40. So you're looking at about $83,000. That's a cool, nice amount of income. No kids. You throw kids in there, that becomes a little tough. You throw multiple kids in there with a mortgage, a few other things, that's becomes difficult. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we said we all of this is said to say this. People got to be more realistic about their expectations and what they want, right? And the point is to build with people, right? So find people that have solid foundations and have those intangibles, and you guys can grow and build together, right? And can level up, because everything is easier with a partner, right? If you look at businesses, right? Most businesses, the Apples of the world, the Microsofts of the world, these major corporations, they all started in partnerships, right? And the same applies to, you know, a significant other, a partnership. You can grow and learn from each other and elevate faster. Quit looking for somebody that's already there. You know what I'm saying? So to continue with the statistics, right? So only 16% of men earn over $100,000. 16%. So that means 84% of men make less than $100,000. Right? And only 7% of women earn over $100,000. So that means 93% of women make less than $100,000, right? So a lot of this stuff we see, and the ones that really are doing it, they're in the extreme minority.
It's rare. Yeah.
It's rare. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really happen. And if we look at those statistics, right? So 16% of males earn over 100,000 a year. Well, if we look back at the other statistics, black men were third on the list of earners among other demographics. So you're taking that 16% and you're damn near cutting it in the fours. You know what I mean? Like there's way less black men in that 16%. So the chances of finding a, you know, or any man demographics, you got a higher chance of finding a Asian man, but again, the numbers are so slim, you know what I mean, that is harder. And then
are limited.
Right? And then the same applies to women, right? And then of the six-figure earners, 72% of them are men, which leads to this point. I think it's a fair assessment, but controversial, that most women look to men for security, right? And what I mean by that is it's not necessarily always financial, but in most cases, I do believe it is financial. But men look to women for security. In the history, for multiple reasons, which pay discrimination is one of them, right? Which they're working on to bring pay up, because that plays a big role in these percentages as well. But the history is men have made more than women, right?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of women look to man for security, not always financial, but a lot of times it is. So it's natural for a man, if they're trying to date or pursue a woman, to try to impress them financially, right? To try to make it seem like they're in a good financial position.
Yeah.
Because they think that's what a woman wants. Now, to be fair, some women say that that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? They say they want somebody who can take care of them. Now, the reality is this: how many men can actually take care of a woman, like financially, with no assistance, without her carrying some of her own weight, right?
Right. Off the rip too.
Right. Off the rip, right? Yeah. And on top of that, well, I had another point that I was gonna make that just completely slipped my mind. But yeah, but how many men can really do that, right? Oh, that was the point I was gonna make. And on top of that, the type of women that want that, the man who can't do it, are you the type of woman he wants? You know what I mean? Which is a whole nother conversation, or a whole nother situation, which from what I see on social media, no. You know what I mean? The type of women that are yelling those things, the type of man that can do that for you, you're not what he wants, right? Because men look for multiple things, right? I can only speak from a man's perspective, and I can't speak for all men, but I can speak for myself. Like, we want somebody that's gonna stimulate us, you know what I mean? Intellectually, challenge us, help us grow, you know, be a good mother, you know what I mean? All of those other things, besides not just sex, or
supporter, nurturer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and if all you can offer is some good looks and sex, you know what I mean? That's not,
ain't gonna cut it.
It's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna suffice. And then there comes a lot of resentment and various other things. Like if a man is doing everything, and let's flip the tables on this. Not as common, but common. A woman is leading, and same applies to her with a man, right? Which I probably am gonna sound terrible saying this, but I think a man that wants a woman to take care of them, you know what I mean? Like that just I'm not cut from that cloth, so that just don't make sense. That just don't make sense to me. But the same applies. If a woman is carrying all the weight, there's gonna be some sort of resentment if the man isn't carrying his weight, whatever that entails,
whatever
right?
That weight is. Yeah.
Whether that's him taking care of the kids or doing, whatever it is that he needs to do, right? So it goes on both sides. But the point of all of this, right, is when looking for that spouse, I think so many people focus on those things, right? So like the amount of money they make, you know what I mean? Like the lifestyle they live, like who they're associated with, like all of those type of things, and not on the intangibles, like what type of person are they? You know what I'm saying? Like what is the potential? You know what I mean? Right. Do I see potential in this particular person? Right.
A lot, and I say a lot of times people can search for perfection and miss the opportunity of potential. You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying, like off the rip, somebody may be looking for somebody who got, the 6-figure income, or drive the nice car, or live in an affluent area, and all these other different things, and miss the opportunity of somebody who may not have all of that, but has the potential to do it. But at this the ground level where they're building, like you were saying, they credit good, God-fearing person, they're family oriented, all the
come from a good family, very intelligent,
you know what I'm saying, raised well, and they have all these intangibles and certain soft skills that can really benefit you, but you're focused on other elements that really you can't contribute much to. You know what I'm saying? And like you was just saying a few minutes ago, when looking for somebody who has it all, I feel like if that's your go-to, you miss the opportunity for growth, right? Like there's a limited space that you can navigate in when somebody already has it all. You know what I mean? It's like, what more can you offer if you're looking for somebody who has everything? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you contribute? How can you all collectively say, you know what, this is ours. This is what we've built. You know what I mean? And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, shoot, this is all his stuff, or this is all her stuff. So it's like, what do you have to show? It's like, I ain't got much. You know what I mean? So I feel, with the numbers that we were just discussing, and just like we were just talking about earlier, like the opportunity to build with a significant other is, I feel like, one of the dopest things ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can even look at certain individuals who, are doing exceptionally well in life right now that are married. And I just say this on the outside, just like looking in. You know what I'm saying? I don't know these people personally. But you take somebody like a LeBron, who's been married to his wife for X amount of years, but has known her since he's been in high school, right? And then they've just kind of grown with each other, over the years. And obviously LeBron speaks highly of his wife and saying, he wouldn't be in the position that he is without her. Now, obviously we don't know all the ins and outs and the details and stuff like that, but that just shows that the opportunity to build with someone and really play an integral role in the process of them growing and developing, like you get to a point where it's like, this is a collective thing that we've built together, and this is more sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have that moment of resentment, or a person trying to flex and say, well, I got this, I worked this hard, I worked hard to get here, and I'm not going to allow you to da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a collective, unified progression towards achieving goals. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's important not to really just get too focused on, like we've been saying, how society portrays things, just to kind of talking heads that, speak about this and speak about that. But obviously at the end of the day too, you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And you got to do what's best for your situation. But at the same time too, man,
and really, there's nothing wrong with expectations, right? And wanting a certain lifestyle, but you should just ask yourself, what do you bring to the table, right?
Yeah. What am I willing to give?
Right. What are you adding benefit to that relationship? Like, what are you bringing, right? And not to mention, are the type of person you do you think you're going to attract the type of person you want? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
which is extremely important, like, but yeah, so I think the stats kind of just paints the picture, right? Because that's the reality. Like, most people are not balling like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody's looking for somebody that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's looking for somebody that, but it's like, but the reality is this though, right? Like, that's just the perception, because it's just not the reality. Like, that's not how, it's just not the reality. You know what I'm saying? But so what's the impact, right? So there are many societal perceptions that don't equate to stability, security, certainty, etc. It's easy to be deceived when priorities are put into the wrong areas, right? So again, to go back to the point of, when your priorities are, you're focused on, the way things look, how much a person makes, who their circle is, you know what I mean? What type of car they drive, where they live, all those type of things, and not focusing on the very important things, right? Like, what type of person are they? Would they be a good parent? Like, do they come from a good family? Are they smart? You know what I mean? Like all those type of things that are way more important, and where you can build that foundation to grow. Like, that's extremely important. And again, there's faults on both sides, on men and women, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like on the man side, like, yeah, men typically go after looks, right? Like, they're attracted to looks. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a norm. I think everybody knows that. Where it seems like more women necessarily aren't always, it's not always looks. It's about that stability, whether financial or whatever. And it's like, we got to dig deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to dig deeper. And the reality is, when it comes to those two areas, right? That's why you see women, beautiful women, with maybe not as attractive man, but they provide that stability, right? That financial stability. And on the flip side, you find man with I don't get the equivalent on the other side, to be honest. But
stretch.
Well, no. No. The reality is this, and this is the point that I was making. The prettiest girl isn't necessarily the one that the man wants to be with. He may want to have relations or date or have fun with, but the one, it may be a less attractive woman that stimulates him mentally, is the one that he would prefer to be with. You know what I mean? The one that he would prefer to spend time with, and you know what I mean, be with. So you know what I mean? It's a little different scenario. There's not a direct correlation, but I think y'all get the point.
No,
but
sure.
So yeah, stat sheet. So let's move on to the next slide, right? So no I in team.
There it is.
I'll let you knock out the first one, said, and I can take the last two. The first two, and I'll take the last two.
Bet. So no I in team. So this obviously goes back to what we were talking about previously with building together. You know what I'm saying? And creating something where you both can contribute, right? And so we've got 4 different points that we're gonna highlight on this particular slide. So the first one is teamwork, right? So building together creates stronger bonds that are capable of withstanding many of life's challenges. So when you work together to build something and create something, just that opportunity to learn, to grow with one another, to see one another's strengths, to see one another's weaknesses, and be able to contribute to building up those areas, just strengthening your bonds by working together. It allows you to withstand a lot of the things that come in life, right? Because you're battle tested. You've went through things together, and you went through things collectively, and you came out on the other side of it, and now you're able to withstand a lot of life's challenges because you've worked together. You've done things collectively, right? And so the idea of teamwork really helps when it comes to companionship, because it allows you all to grow in unison, and it also just gives you a solid foundation where you can work together. And then too, with this particular slide, if you don't kind of see the correlation, but it's almost like with sports, when it comes to teamwork and working together, in a sporting team, whether it's basketball, football, don't matter what it is, but when you work together, when you work collectively, day in, day out, anytime you go into a game, you're ready for the challenges that are ahead of you. You're able to withstand, the many ups and downs of a game, because you work together, you're working collectively. So it's the same thing when it comes to, companionship with a significant other, teamwork, working together, right? And so the next one is team spirit. So supporting someone as they work towards a goal is a meaningful contribution that will always hold value, right? And support is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? And what we were discussing earlier, when it comes to somebody who may not have everything that they want, but they've got aspirations, they've got a plan, they've got a plan of action, they know what they want out of life, they know what their purpose is, they know what their goals are, they're driven towards those things, right? And you come along and you offer that support, right? And you're that encourager, and you're that motivator that they need to get them to the next level. And so, as we were saying earlier, a lot of times when people come into a situation and they're looking for someone who has everything just off the rip, they miss this opportunity of providing that support. They miss that opportunity of going through the process of seeing someone work so hard, and then they eventually achieve whatever it is that they've worked for, right? And then you can look back on the situation, and y'all both can look back on it like, yeah, we've been through some tough times, we went through some challenges. I remember when we was going through this, that, and the other. And what ends up happening when you go through those things is you have a story to tell, right? And if you've watched our lives over the past 27 episodes, I'm always talking about being beneficial, right? And this really contributes to your story. Like, you have an opportunity to go through a process and endure something together and support one another and really champion for one another. And once you get through some of the things that you go through when you're together, that allows you the opportunity to be beneficial. And what you can do now is encourage other couples. You can talk to other people who may be going through similar things in certain situations, and you can help them out, right? You can learn through your situation, and then you can share everything that you garnered through that process to help them. So team spirit, offering the support, and then teamwork, building together.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So the next one is team up, right? So bringing your positive experience to a situation can help elevate another's execution and effectiveness. And it's just about teaming up, right? Just working together, helping each other out. Like, I know in my marriage, right? Like, me and my wife have been a very good team, just as far as pushing each other. Like, there were times where she was the breadwinner. Then when I was the breadwinner, then she was the breadwinner, then I'm the breadwinner, and continue to push each other. I told her now at this point she ain't about to pass me no more, but you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But again, we push each other, right? And to be honest with you, sure, I credit in big part her with helping me with my first software development job, right? Like, I was doing a bunch of research and YouTube and interviews and whiteboard sessions and all that, and I had got to the point where I was just like, this shit seems way too complicated. Like, I don't think I'm ready, right? Yeah. And like spoke with, and then I had just flew out of town for another interview with another company, and it was pretty much locked up, but this other job was the one that I really wanted. And she was like, well, just go to the interview. And I think I might have told this story on another episode too. But she's like, just go to the interview. And at the very least, you can just use it as a learning experience. You learn from it or whatever. Anyway, long story short, went to the interview, killed it, got the job. The rest is history. Now I'm a damn Cloud solution architect at Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? Which is
solutions. That was the word. I was trying to tell my wife last night, but I forgot the middle word.
Yeah, cloud solution architect, which is new, right? I was an application development manager. This is effective tomorrow, but again, though, like that teamwork and helping push each other and like giving alternate perspectives and just all of that good stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why like two brains is better than one, right? Like to go back to the business, when we're talking about businesses and partnerships, like you're able to do more with a partner. You know what I'm saying? So very important. And then the last one is team win, right? So sharing success brings a long lasting appreciation and admiration for each other's sacrifices and selflessness, right? And so sharing successes, right? So again, I'll talk about my wife. She's been doing extremely well in her career, you know what I mean, at Academy. Been moving up faster, very fast, the youngest buyer for her team, crushing numbers, getting crazy bonuses and all that. And like those successes motivate me, right? And I'm like happy and proud for her. And that makes me want to strive and go much harder and like, you know, see equal levels and bring that type of success on my part too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like sharing those successes and you know, cheering each other on, you know what I mean, is good for the team, right? When she win, I win. When she win, I win. When I win, she wins. You know what I'm saying? And it just, and it's a, you know what I mean? What's the analogy I can use? It's just kind of like a back and forth. You know what I mean? Feeding off each other energy and pushing each other forward. And I say that's something in our marriage that we've done extremely well. You know what I'm saying? Like no marriage is perfect. You know what I'm saying? But that is something that I feel like we have done extremely well over the last, it'll be 9 years in October. You know what I'm saying? Is we've worked very well as a team. You know what I mean? So I guess I'll let you tackle the final thought and then I'll close this out.
There it is. So final thoughts, adding value to a person's growth and giving clarity to a person's vision is a major key. I'm gonna repeat that again, right? Adding value to a person's growth and giving clarity to a person's vision is a major key. Unlocking the benefits of companionship is not all about what you can gain, but providing a missing piece, right? And so through all that we've said from slide 1, slide 2, and what we just discussed, you know, really understanding the importance of adding value, right? And like you was saying earlier in the live, like if it's just, you know what I'm saying, good looks and sex, that ain't,
it's not gonna last. That's not a good foundation.
A man who's really about his business and about growth and elevating, likely is going to want more. Like, going to want to be stimulated, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It can't be about just the physical nature. You know, and me personally, I feel a lot of people miss those intangibles because, you know, they into the person flexing and doing these certain things on the gram and, you know, around these people and rubbing shoulders with these people. But, you know, it's so much more to it when it comes to really building a strong foundation, whether you're pursuing marriage or whether you're, you know, wanting to see a long lasting relationship with someone, like you really have to go beyond the surface. Like you got to break things down. You got to really like do your research. You know what I'm saying? Figure out who a person is, what makes them trigger, what makes them motivated, you know, what their family is like, and all these different things. But once you gather all those tidbits of information, then you can know how you can contribute, you know, how you can contribute to their vision, how you can add that value. And that's going to unlock a lot of different things when it comes to finding a companion, because now you're moving in the direction in unison, and you're, like you were just saying, like you're contributing to each other's success. Like I'm championing you and you doing the same thing for me. You know what I'm saying? And so really just taking that and keeping that in perspective, and being that missing piece that individual may need, it goes a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I ain't really even got nothing to add to that. But so I guess in closing, if you go check out the kit, there's 2 links in there. There's a link to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. There's a lot of good information in there about earnings and breakdowns on salary and occupation and various different things, demographics. And then there's a link to that gender pay gap where it talks about the 6-figure earners and all of that, which is also some really good information. And like I said, I think kind of puts things into perspectives. But with all that said, fuck them kids. No, I'm joking.
These are Eric's thoughts. They are not a reflection.
No, but hey, we really appreciate y'all. 28 weeks in, episode 28. Hey, thank you, said. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, all the work you do on these.
Your
consistency, you know what I mean? Like just the teamwork, right? Which
for sure, bro.
that teamwork concept doesn't just apply to significant others, right? It applies to business and everything in general. You know what I mean? And like me and Said's relationship and partnership and brotherhood is, speaks to that as well. You know what I'm saying? And holding each other accountable, and because it takes a lot of accountability, a lot of consistency, a lot of discipline to do what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Like every week we come at y'all with solid content, good information,
new concepts.
Well put together, structured conversations, not just on here blabbering, talking about whatever. You know what I mean? So again, I want to say thank you, Said. You know what I mean?
No doubt, bro.
No doubt, man.
I'm glad you brought me in on this thing here.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. Couldn't have thought nobody better to do it with. But hey, with all that said, man, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough. And we'll holler at y'all next week, next episode. And y'all have a good one, have a good fort. We'll holler at y'all next time. Deuces.
No doubt.